This is the grand finals here at Tavern Takeover. Let's get it going. This is, in fact, Backspace on the Paladin and Faramir on the handlock.
Yeah, a really strong start here, too, from Faramir. One of the times I have the most trouble with handlock is when they start with Ancient Watcher, they follow it with the Ironbeak Owl, and it continue to apply aggressive pressure, and using that early pressure to allow them to life tap into the answers they need going forward. This is a massive start for him, and just right away you see this is how important it is for these guys to keep board control and how aggressively they're going to fight for it. He's actually using this to attack into the shielded minibot to make sure he doesn't pick up this Ironbeak Owl for free. So moving forward, stuff like Aldor Peacekeeper, not going to shut this down from still being a threat really that much because the shielded minibot's going to be taken out. We see Dark Bomb in hand. He's got some great responses, that sort of
Mortal
thing.
Coil as well. Even if he did decide to go with the Aldor Peacekeeper, really trying to fight aggressively for it, then he would still have the answer.
Yeah, so both of these guys, this is the way that they're going to end up fighting. And again, we've seen these two styles. Yeah, we've seen these two styles be very successful so far. It's a rare treat to see these two guys who play this well and like this, to have to match up against each other because, frankly, they're just not misstepping very much, if at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to argue against their results, that's for sure. And, I mean, if he has Muster for battle available, that would be really nice here. He could equip the weapon, take out that 4-1. The tokens would be able to answer here as well. We'll see if that's going to be the case. We don't have vision on his hand just yet. We are waiting for the invite here from Backspace, but I'm guessing, no, he doesn't, in fact. So it is just going to be a token dropped here. Mortal Coil answers this nicely.
Pretty interesting spot to be in. This token now threatens both of these, so his opponent does have to have something like Mortal Coil to shore this up, or Earthen Ring Farseer to heal up that Ancient Launcher and keep pressing forward. So, going to take some damage here, but this may be the kind of board where he has to consecrate early.
Just not really what you want to do. I mean, it's a turn where you're not going to be developing your board any further. Not ideal. But he's not going to have to. Has a Shielded Minibot available, which is definitely a nice answer here. Now, I mean, as the answer, I don't expect him to really want to, use his Dark Bomb or anything like that. Is he really going to attack? Okay. Okay, so he is going to use the Dark Bomb. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. And just going to go face, I imagine. So, I mean, still, the token going to be available to be traded in, next turn. We will be able to see the Mountain Giant come down, though. So, hopefully for Backspace's sake, he is going to have that Aldor Peacekeeper or some sort of answer. We are now finally connecting to his feed. We can see his turn there. He does have Coghammer, Quartermaster, Dr. Boom. He has a quality to answer that as well. So he's going to have some answers. Blood Knight in hand, but both Shielded Minibots have been used, and that's something that's also key to remember. Why you see him aggressively removing those Divine Shields. He has to keep the Blood Knight in mind.
What a tough spot to be in, too. I mean, he can keep his token alive with the Coghammer, but he could also take this out straight away, make a token, and then Coghammer the token, which would give him access to Blood Knight on the next turn. Now, the question to that is how much is Blood Knight worth on the next turn? And frankly, I don't think it's worth as much as a Quartermaster. So I actually like that he's favoring this Coghammer here. Wow, he's going to leave the shield.
Oh, so he may be playing aggressively for the Blood Knight.
So look how much.
I mean,
he's willing to pay so much life with this too. I mean, he's down to 16. Not that he's expecting a ton of bursts to come out.
I think he just knows he needs to play it so aggressively. And I mean, okay, so you could Equality, then Blood Knight.
Oh yeah.
And you just be able to trade in token. That's going to be the play here.
Yeah, this is the play for sure that he was trying to set up.
Yeah, such a nice turn here for him.
What if he just paid 8 more life?
Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe because you could die. That's why. but
gosh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put it past him at this point. We've seen crazier things so far this tournament.
It's true. We have. Yeah. So this is going to be the line of play almost guaranteed here. And it's something I do like a lot. I mean, there is, the Ironbeak Owl, unfortunately, in his opponent's hand. So, but still, it's forcing your opponent to have the answer, which is important.
Yeah, Ironbeak Owl's not even necessarily a clean answer on this.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you have a 3/3 still.
The token can be traded in. It's still a 3/3 on the board. It's not, a perfect answer by any means.
Start using up those charges, preparing for future weapons. He needs to get value out of those while he can. Big Game Hunter a little bit. He's looking for a bigger game than just 6/6. 6/6 is not enough for Big Game Hunter, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, do you feel comfortable just playing another Mountain Giant here?
I don't really. I think I like the Drake more, to be honest, because I don't know. It's kind of rough to just get the Mountain Giant Aldor Peacekeeper, but at the same time, it's hard to know. I mean,
it's rough to just play it into a direct answer kind of too.
Yeah.
So I'm be curious to see if Backspace is willing to pay life here. Oh my gosh. He picks up Aldor Peacekeeper right off the top of the deck, and immediately a ton of pressure is going to be applied to Faramir. This was such an important draw.
Yeah, an incredibly important draw there. I mean, do you think he floods the board? Does he drop the Piloted Shredder, just go all face here? Because the fact of the matter is, okay, no, he's going to trade. He's going to take it out. I like this a lot more, especially with when we see the hand. There is Hellfire available. There is the Sounds available as well. So he has the ability to sweep this board out if he decides to go for it, and he is going to go for that Hellfire play, I do believe. So a lot could come down to what is actually summoned here from the Piloted Shredder. What is it going to be? It is going to be not a very impactful creature here.
With True Silver Champion, that's dealing an extra point of damage too.
There you go.
Yeah, you get the heal for 1. It's still 2-3 at the end of the day, but sort of the bigger story to this is that this Hellfire dealt with the board, but it's yielded initiative over to Backspace. So Dr. Boom, this is just like what this card is for, is in these kinds of situations where you have a small lead and now it's become a huge lead. This is a deliberate non-attack from Backspace right here. He doesn't want to activate Molten Giants too much. If he played Molten Giant in a scenario where he was at 14, he had access to either Defender of Argus or to Sun Fury Protector, so that's the situation he's trying to avoid. Iron Beak Owl, a fantastic answer to this Twilight Drake, even picks up Lay on Hands.
Yeah, it is really nice. I mean, especially if the bomb that kills off the Drake then hits the Big Game Hunter, it's going to be fantastic. That's really what he's hoping for here. Let's see. Does he get it? He does get it. That is really nice. I mean, I think you just token you a Noyotron. You try to set up for a big Quartermaster next turn.
I definitely agree with you. The question is whether so now he's going to choose to apply pressure to his opponent. Faramir's actually got 2 copy of Molten Giant in his hand.
As well as the anti-kill, but I mean, he could just tap, double Molten Giant, taunt up, and then heal.
How worried are you about something like a second equality?
Actually, he doesn't have quite enough mana to do that. He can't just... how worried are you about...
No, he can do exactly what you meant. Oh, he can't taunt up. That's what he can't
taunt up.
Yeah. But even still, he's going to be at 19 with 19 power on the board. Oh, he's not going to heal. He's going to taunt up instead.
I think he's nervous because of, you have to take into consideration something like Enhanso Mechano plus, your Quartermaster, things like that. You do have to kind of be a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
So.
Consecration gets drawn, but he's almost certainly going to hunt.
I feel like you kind of have to lay on hands, look for that equality.
Yep. Man, he missed a point of damage with that Shadow Boxer, too.
Very true.
It's a sting. Oh my gosh, if he picks up this equality, he's going to be so far ahead in the threat game.
Yeah, imagine he kills both the bombs, then gets the drops in. Not going to get it. You start trading in.
I mean, this is a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I feel like, it is a very tough spot. I mean, and the other question is, do you prioritize developing a token over the Noyotron? He's not going to prioritize that. Doesn't want to risk taking that additional damage to the face. And it looks like he is going to maybe start just trading in some of these minions.
I think you go for the Boombot first to figure out if maybe this
lands.
Changes some of your math a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to see where the Boombot lands first as well. And the Boombot potential to perhaps deal with that Argent Protector. Let's see. It's going to be a 3-roll pretty high.
I'm just going to wait now. Still a lot of pressure being applied from the other side of the board, but Faramir's hand is not lacking in threats.
Jiraxis is going to be the answer here, and he is going to be able to use that to kind of punch through.
Oh my gosh, this is such a huge board presence now for Faramir. He's already got Jiraxis online. He's got value out of the Jiraxis heal. He doesn't need a life tap anymore. He feels comfortable in cards. He knows his opponent doesn't have an equality. He would have used it last turn. And now look at the amount of board presence that Faramir has in comparison to Backspace.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it's got to be a Consecrate, and the Sludge Belts are coming down here, but definitely a tough position. I mean, he has his opponent low in HP, though. We've seen these games get turned around, so we'll see if he's going to be able to pull it off. But, I mean, you have to feel that with some of the cards in hand, I mean, it could be a Dr. Boom get taunted up next turn. It could be, just going with the Hero Power, Sylvanas taunt up. There's a lot of strong turns that can come out from his opponent here.
I imagine he's got to go with Piloted Shredder into the token here. He's got to find a way to get significant value out of what he's got right now. Because it's not just a matter of, how you best stay alive through these couple of turns, but you have to figure out a way. Yeah, you have to figure out a way to actually win this game too, and just work on what he's got. Your opponent's got a 6/6 coming every single turn. You have to be able to apply pressure too. So when he's thinking about that 6/6, he is thinking about how to stay alive. Probably trying to utilize the second Consecrate here. A Ragnaros gets picked up. My gosh. Faramir just has all of the options available in his arsenal right now. Jiraxis is still on the board. He's going to go with Ragnaros. He's going to make a 6/6 token afterwards. He's not worried about the burst from Paladin. I mean, this game could just be completely locked up right here.
Yeah, he's going to need to draw an equality pretty much. Does hit the token. He needs the equality. Let's see if he gets it. Not going to get the equality, and that is going to almost guarantee the win here for Faramir. I mean, you can Black Knight, but I mean, who really cares? Black Knight dropped the piloted Shredder, but you are just gasping for air at this point. Such a brutal spot to be in, and he can still just taunt up again. I mean, he can drop another token. He can taunt up.
6, 7, 8, 9.
No, not quite
lethal.
No. I think the play is
you just got so much gas.
I really would just like to see, Hero Power, Sylvanas, Tana. Even if he gets a quality Consecrate, then you steal one of the minions.
I can't disagree with that, man. I mean,
because that pretty much guarantees it. And if he says this, then it means he's healing up. So it means he's healing up now. So it's probably going to be anti-heal bot. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if he'd have gotten Doomsayer off of that?
Yeah.
They continue to clear here.
And Hero Power and taunt up, I would imagine.
Lightwell's going to give him a little bit of extra health here. Maybe this is...
Well, we'll see. It might just get killed off right now.
Oh my gosh, Ragnaros goes straight for the face. He needs equality right now. It's going to be Tyrion instead. Man, maybe Tyrion can help fend this board off a little bit.
It's something. I mean, he's still alive, but for how long? I mean, I just am not seeing the win just yet in the cards here for him.
Every turn he buys, though, is one more turn that he could possibly draw equality.
Yep, very true. He is still alive. And I mean, he has the potential to drop another token here as well. Something to absorb those rag shots.
And he's every little piece he can get right now.
Does he have...
Siphon Soul gets picked up. And that looks like lethal to me because he's just going to push through Tyrion. Have your 5/3 weapon. It doesn't matter this game. Faramir going to take a very decisive game one. Just really showcasing the power of handlock right here. I mentioned I thought he was potentially going to lead with this because I thought it was the weakest in the lineup, but still a scary beast to play.
Alrighty, so it will be the Warrior. No surprise there. Faceless Manipulator, another addition here from Backspace. We saw that showcased actually in the semifinals, I do believe. I think he's the only player running the card in the tournament, actually, that we have seen. So, this is another card I think that matches up very well, actually, against Handlock.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear, I think, that his deck is aimed more at this archetype than kind of the other ones.
Yeah.
He's just looking for, Handlock's looking for their own swing turns, but what Backspace has done here is now he's going to hunt for his own swing turns when his opponent has them. So stuff like big mountain giants can get contested straight away, but
pretty nice starting hand for Faramir.
Yeah, looking at Faramir's opening hand, this is fantastic. He's got options for Twilight Drake.
Oh, another Twilight Drake.
Second Twilight Drake comes in. He's got a mountain giant. Even if that gets Faceless Manipulator, he's got Big Game Hunter to handle that afterwards. It just with how long it's going to take for this game to get to that point too. Even on turn 8, he's got access to Ragnaros, so just really everything, I think, lining up for him.
Access as well.
Already, he's drawn so many threats. Backspace doesn't have a way to adequately activate his armor yet. The Shield Slam's not going to be quite enough. And he may have to play this Sludge Belcher just to hope to fend off what's going on the board.
Very well may. I mean, we could see potentially the Belcher have to come out early, and yeah, it's going to be Drake number 1 coming down here for Faramir. The 4/9 is going to have to be answered in some way. Let's see if he's going to get a draw into that. No. He's looking at playing the Explosive Sheep. Interesting.
Maybe highlighting what a poor draw it was.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, look, Explosive Sheep, just what I needed right now.
I mean...
Explosive Sheep is great versus 4/9s.
He was definitely hoping to draw into a shield block. I mean, if he drew into that, he would have actually been able to just kill this right off the bat. I mean, 5 more armor plus a shield slam. I mean, you can coin into a Sludge Belcher, yeah. It's not the best answer, though. And I mean, it may be the one he goes for. It's possibly he wants to go with the Faceless Manipulator, but I'm guessing he's going to try to save that for, a bigger threat, like an 8/8 or something like that. So I'm guessing it is going to be the Sludge Belcher that you talked about. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense for him to play that up. So yeah, probably just kind of messing around with this.
Hoping to avoid Mortal Coil, of course.
Yeah.
Pretty much one of the biggest threats he could face right now, but We have to see what he ends up drawing here. I mean, I can't imagine a turn where you're not playing either another Twilight Drake or a Mountain Giant here. So
yeah, I kind of favor just playing another Twilight Drake. I feel like it's something that's not answered by as many things, and it's going to be the Mountain Giant though. So, we are going to see this crash on in, and this could be the Faceless Manipulator's turn.
Wow, he actually chooses not to attack here.
Okay.
Brawl is drawn from Backspace. Is this the turn that he needs to gamble? I mean, this is potentially 17 points of damage that you're dealing with Brawl.
I think it's a pretty reasonable turn to Brawl. I mean, when you look at your other options, yeah, you can Faceless Manipulator, but it doesn't really deal with the board that well. And your opponent, having the potential for Siphon Soul next turn, for BGH, for a lot of different things that could answer that. So, Brawl would be pretty reasonable. If he wants to go face a Brawl, I couldn't blame him for that. We have to look at the other lines of play. I mean, there are some other ways he could go.
That's pretty tough, man. I mean, none of his other plays really look that good.
No.
There's
Faceless Manipulator. There's also Armor Up, Shield Slam, and trade into the Drake, which is pretty reasonable. I think that's going to be the play.
Yep.
Yep.
Gosh, I just wanted to see the Brawl.
Yeah. It's so fun to watch them. I always want to do a Brawl, man. But people want to win.
Let's gamble a little. Come on, man. Give the people what they want. I'd be raging in chat if he didn't Brawl, man. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, man. Well, it's going to silence it up and probably just go face. He wants to shred off that armor.
Yep.
Deny it.
But now look how big of a Brawl turn this is.
Yeah, this is a massive Brawl turn. I think I would be surprised if he doesn't go for it now, man. Yeah, he's going face. He's going to Brawl.
Wow.
Especially with the owl down there.
I think it's just too much. The second Twilight Drake meant you can't just execute here, so he's going to go for this Brawl.
50-50 pretty much. He doesn't care if the owl comes out. He doesn't care if the Belcher comes out. It is the owl.
Wow.
A very good Brawl.
18 points of damage dealt with Brawl effectively.
Loses a 3-1. Kills off a Mountain Giant and a Twilight Drake. Not too bad.
Here, we're going to have to start digging for some more options here. Looks like Anti-Killbot's about all he's got. I mean, he can play this Ancient Watcher, so he's got a threat with Iron Beak Owl next turn. Maybe he wants to even taunt this up.
Also have to worry about Sylvanas, though. We've seen Sylvanas time and time again causing problems. Do you really want to use that, that Iron Beak Owl, before Sylvanas has been played?
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Sylvanas is pretty much the devil, too. I mean,
it is.
Gosh, this card has been so problematic.
Yeah,
he does have a silence for it, though.
He does, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing it's just going to be the Silence, the Owl, and the Dark Bomb.
Yep. Now, this being said, Backspace is going to consider what that second silence means for him. How much damage does it actually deal? Because this looks like a pretty decent turn to develop Gorehowl. You're not under a ton of pressure. You have Execute to potentially deal with a massive threat that's come out. You've already seen 2 Twilight Drakes and a Mountain Giant at this point. I mean, I can't fault anyone for playing Sylvanas here. It just feels like such a fantastic turn.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really under a massive amount of pressure. Yeah. Considering there's not a silence there, your opponent would be under, kind of mess with your opponent's turn quite a bit.
Second Mountain Giant gets picked up for Faramir. He's drawn both Twilight Drakes and both
This is just such a good turn. I mean,
Giants.
Silence, Dark Bomb, Owl goes in, Mountain Giant gets played. It's such a nice turn. It just fits perfectly. I mean, you play the Mountain Giant, silence it up, throw in the Owl, Dark Bomb it, and you have that cleared up. You have an incredible board presence. Brawl has already been played. I don't think you're too worried about, another Brawl right now. And I think this is going to be the line of play. Really like it.
Such strong. I mean, this just went from like no board presence to suddenly being a menacing presence. I mean, this is kind of the risk that you took associated with Sylvanas, but Gorehowl would have created that same board presence as well. I mean, your opponent would just be able to play Mountain Giant anyway. It'd still have access to a silence. It would have gotten a life tap out of that turn.
Yeah, man. It's tough.
Oh my gosh. Do you just have to gamble with Ragnaros here?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I actually think you might.
Oh
and I mean, the fact of the matter is, if the Ragnaros is ignored, you could faceless it. There's something you could look at as well, because I mean, it's like, what are your other options? I mean, Dr. Boom is an option. You can dig as another option, but the thing is, even if you dig, you're not going to be probably able to get enough armor to be able to actually do anything. So he's actually thinking about going Dr. Boom.
Yeah. I think I like Dr. Boom a lot better, because next turn you actually have a way to deal with this Mountain Giant. I mean, you're taking a lot of damage in the meantime, but again, handlock decks are not the way they were months ago when they used big burst combos like Leroy, Faceless, and Power Overwhelming. They're just consistent heavy pressure now and looking to grind out these games. So with a card like Dr. Boom,
it's still kind of scary.
Yeah,
facing down 14 damage from your opponent. 14 damage when you're sitting at, that's going to put you at 10 HP. You have to consider, other sources of damage as well. I mean, Ragnaros hits you in the face there in area 2.
Tough stuff, but he's going to have to gamble a little bit with Dr. Boom. Loatheb gets picked up. That can help shut out execute turns.
Hey, he's thinking about Hellfire. I mean, you saw him mouse over the Hellfire there. I kind of just like Siphon Soul at Go Face.
I don't really see much of a better play.
Big Game Hunter is reasonable as well, but I really kind of like Siphon Soul here.
I like Big Game Hunter a lot better.
Yeah.
Because it's reducing the possibility that your opponent's going to be able to hit this Mountain Giant with
Loatheb playing board as well.
Yep, and then Loatheb's also going to help choke out your opponent's ability to play anything. Backspace is under a massive amount of pressure right now.
And we have to remember there's still, the ability to get the extra 3 damage from the Hellfire. Yeah. There's a potential for a lethal with Ragnaros. There is still anti Keelbot in turn. There's an additional 3 damage from Jiraxis. And, oof. Let's see where the bombs go.
Oh, no. Wow. That is so brutal. I don't think Backspace has any way to live through this turn. He's just facing so much damage.
That's got to be it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a way out of this.
Even if Ragnaros hits the 8-8, he still loses.
Yeah, he's just lethal with the Hellfire, so that's going to end up doing it. No matter what this Ragnaros target hits, if he got the best shot possible, unless it bugged and dealt 19 damage to the face, which it's not going to have in this game. Good development on Blizzard's part, and that's going to do it. Faramir, again, very decisively taking this game, even despite such a huge brawl turn. Game 3.
Well, Undertaker, Ruby and Egg.
We haven't seen too much Undertaker being played in this tournament so far, but I think the bigger story of that is that Hunter didn't get really helped too much from GBG. I think it actually got hurt more than anything, mostly on the back of Antique Healbot. Hunter's the strength of that deck. Hunter's strength of the deck was the fact that it was able to leverage so much power against your opponent's life total that even if they recovered, you were able to finish the game. With Antique Healbot, it's not the case. It presents a threat. It restores 8 health. It's not just like Sludge Belcher. It's a lot harder to double kill command past an Antique Healbot than it is to double kill command past a Sludge Belcher. So not a surprise to see Undertaker being played in Zoo. Of course, there's still a lot of death rattles that are in here. But, again, really got to get things going first. Double Dark Bomb from Faramir's hand. I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about. If he draws the right cards, it gets a lot tougher for Zoo to really make up the ground in these sorts of matchups.
No
Playing
kidding.
Undertaker.
And Nerubian Egg is easily answered by the Iron Beak Owl as well.
Yep.
A lot of answers here already early on. Let's see, though. I mean, you can't just get by on spells. You do need to get those minions going as well. Not going to decide to Dark Bomb here just yet.
Yeah, I think this Molten Giant really changed his game plan a lot. Before, I think he was going to look to try to pick apart the board and go from there. But when he picks up a Molten Giant, his game plan, I think, drastically changes. He's looking to take some damage now and finding a big swing turn with Molten Giant instead of just clearing out this board and making sure he's got control of the minions.
Yep. Definitely makes a lot of sense. And, the Iron Beak Owl already moused over. I think it's a clear Iron Beak Owl and Dark Bomb turn next turn. We'll see what he draws, but I think that's basically guaranteed that we're going to see the Egg silenced up and the Undertaker taken out.
Big Game Hunter typically not very good against Zoo, but when there's a Sea Giant in there, sometimes it's pretty good.
Yeah. This is already just not a good start for Backspace here.
Yeah, you're almost certainly going to see Implosion this turn.
Oh, geez. Another Egg, really not what you wanted, but,
I actually, picking up that second Egg might change this a lot because Hellfire and Shadow Flame are cards that he's looking to play around. And
could just tap and...
right, with the hand he had, he didn't have a way to do that. But now that he's picked up this Nerubian Egg, I think he feels a lot more comfortable just developing his board position with this Nerubian Egg and pressing forward. 2 back-to-back draws from each of these players really kind of changing, I think, the game plan that they were going to look towards moving forward in their turns.
All right, so he's going to take the trade and push forward down to 20 HP. Now, definitely don't want to leave those free minions up there for the Shadow Flame. Something you have to always be worried about. Loatheb going to be the answer now here. So it's not going to be an Implosion turn. It actually could kind of help him out.
Well, it's going to be Sea Giant for sure.
Yeah, which is going to be BGH.
Again, yeah, I mean, the BGH really going to answer this, and just a matter of Faramir so far having all the right answers for everything Backspace has thrown at him. I mean, it's just, how often does this come back to bite you in Zoo? It's just almost never. I mean, this is a deck that, like, one of the advantages that it had was it took advantage of the fact that people had Big Game Hunter in their deck, but now it's going to come back to bite him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he is going to be able to set himself up for the Implosion Knife Juggler turn, unless he does draw something really nice here. It's going to be rough, though, man. He's already setting himself up for the Shadow Flame as well.
Gosh, I mean, I don't know how much he's got to get off.
Do you feel like he gets the Dark Iron Dwarf out here now? With, just to kill off the 4-2, get your another 4-4 body out there. It's scary, though, because, developing that out there, it makes your board so susceptible to Shadow Flame.
Yeah, think it's definitely something he's thinking about.
And I mean, it almost makes me want to use the Dark Iron Dwarf on the Silenced Egg, just get some value out of that. Just trade that into 4/2.
It's so tough not to use Knife Juggler here, though. I mean, this implosion could, it could swing the game back to where you need it to be. So.
Yep. Let's see.
Knife Juggler and Dark Iron
Now,
Dwarf.
does he go? I like this. I think this is actually really smart. Yep. Because the thing is, he has to protect his board somewhat against a Shadow Flame, and I mean, I think he's just going to take out the 4/2 with this. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think most people would have actually, triggered the egg there. But the fact of the matter is, he's got to protect himself a little bit. He's trying to hedge his bets, but
2 Molten Giants available for him. But I mean, this looks like a board position to me that you gotta consider Shadow Flaming. I mean, you could take out the egg and Shadow Flame afterwards. It's just, it's kind of teed up for you at this point.
Yeah, and I think he's got to go for it. That's what the play is going to be, and this is really going to kill the momentum here. We'll see what the response is going to be. I mean, Implosion could come out, and I mean, Implosion.
Wow, when he picks up a Sun-Free Protector.
No, that's probably going to end it, I feel almost.
2 Molten Giants are going to come down. His board's going to get swept. How on earth does Backspace recover from a turn like this?
I don't think he does. That's the thing. I mean, with the taunt drawn up here, you can try to go, for some sort of lethal, but it's like, I just don't see it. I mean, he's probably just going to drop Doomguard, go face, and pray that he can get another Doomguard. But when the taunt comes out, I think that's just going to be a conceit. He's just praying at this point. I think that his opponent doesn't have a taunt, doesn't have some way to protect himself here. And that is going to be the answer. Almost guaranteed, I think, to go face here. It is going to be him going face. And I think as soon as he sees the taunt come down, that is going to be the concede. Backspace going to lose another one here. It's going to be 3 straight, almost guaranteed. I mean, is there any other way? Is there any way he can still win this game? I don't see it. With the taunt going up, is there any possibility?
Throw some Magic Soul Fires that I don't believe are in his deck.
Yep, I don't think they're in there. There's no Dark Bombs either. There's no Hellfires. There's nothing that he can just use a spell on the face. So how does he ever get through here with next turn being a Drax's turn?
Yeah, frankly, he just doesn't. I mean, this was... Again, we talked about how big of a swing to the Molten Giants were.
There it is. There's the conceit.
Yeah, I mean, just in addition to all the pressure that Backspace was able to apply, Faramir picked it apart with a couple of Dark Bombs and then followed it up with 2 Molten Giants. I mean, just once again, he had everything in his corner. Back against the wall, relying on Warrior to get the job done.
So he's got to win 4 straight with Warrior here. I like the Warrior choice. You have to feel like he got some bad draws, well, not even bad draws, but his opponent got amazing draws last time they had this matchup. And the fact of the matter is, this is a matchup that traditionally throughout the tournament, Warrior has won. And we are going to be hopping into Backspace's gameplay here. He's got to win 4 straight. This is a best of 7. Faramir already taking 3 games in a row with his handlock deck. 12 straight games in the tournament overall. He's looking to make another clean sweep and take 13 straight games to claim victory in this tournament.
Got to execute the opening hand. Of course, this is one you always want to see. Faces Manipulators right there. But the story of this last time these guys faced with this deck earlier in the series was that there was just so much pressure from Faramir.
Double Drake, double Mountain Giant.
Yeah.
Double,
he doesn't have that this game. So something I like he's doing here is the coin life tap. This is something you see pretty rare, but when he's looking at this Mountain Giant in his hand, if he life taps on turn 2, it means on turn 3, unless he has a play, he can't life tap. So he's sacrificing his coin, getting in 1 extra draw. If he potentially draws a 3-drop, he can get that developed. So this is going to give him a few more options and trade for the coin. So he's not going to end up life tapping next turn. But this also opens him up to say he needs to Iron Beak Owl and Acolyte or something like that. Instead of just having a dead turn, he has an actual play.
Very true. But instead, it's just going to be the armor up. I think he wants to make sure it guarantees, multiple draws from these acolytes, and something that I can definitely respect. And it's like it's actually just going to be a Sun Fear Protector getting dropped down. It feels like he wants to have something down there to challenge support.
This is how aggressively he's been fighting the entire time too. Is he wants to start chipping away at this armor. He wants to make sure that if his opponent armored up again this turn, that he wouldn't be able to armor up again and shield slam this Mountain Giant. Really, really strong foresight from Faramir here. Now the trade-off for this is that sometimes your opponent can play Acolyte of Pain, and this is going to net them an extra card.
Do you think we see the Whirlwind?
No, I don't think so. I think that Whirlwind's going to get saved for a Whirlwind Execute.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, the only problem is, it's going to be the Mountain Giant, so he is going to be able to at least get to 2 cards here.
Again, the key here is shredding his armor.
I mean, it's not. It's I guess he can't really do 2 cards unless he wants to whirlwind. Okay, what about that? I guess it could be Acolyte.
Yeah.
Whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the turn he was looking for.
Yeah.
Was this whirlwind, draw
really
2 cards
nice.
and execute. So Backspace going to pick up a ton of cards in this position.
He's trolling. It's making me nervous though. He's pointing at the 2/2. It's making me really nervous. So I had a little bit of a heart palpitation there.
Thought maybe we were going to see another.
He was going to pull a penny.
Yeah, another misclick.
Yeah.
Man, that was a brutal one.
Yeah,
that was painful to watch.
Yeah.
You got to feel for a guy who lets go of the mouse in the wrong position.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Haven't we all?
Okay, so is going to deny an additional drop.
Oh, he attacked the wrong one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now there's a potential for a 3rd card. I don't know. Maybe he wants Cruel Taskmaster to get used here.
He could also just be messing around.
Yep.
With that mistake call.
I'd like to see him attack the Sun Fury Protector because that's the one that can potentially get healed.
That's true. I think that is smart. That is always something you should keep in mind.
Not that it's a big deal, but, if that matters, there's no reason to give your opponent that option, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to attack the owl over it.
Not a huge mistake again. Probably, almost certainly never going to matter in this game. Shield Maiden, a lot of armor being built, and this is a much more stable position for Backspace than we saw in the other one. There isn't a ton of threats coming out in this game, so he's got a pretty good threat with things. It looks like he's going to curve nicely into Dr. Boom or this Gorehowl, depending on which one he wants to play. It's a 4/10 Azure Drake, though. Not the kind of position I think you want to be facing, but a lot of board tension being created here. So Dr. Boom or Gorehowl? Which one do you like and why?
It's hard to say. I mean, I feel like a Gorehowl right now, you're not really threatening your life total. It allows you to take out that Drake, maybe get some more work done with it. He's actually, wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind this either. No. What this tells me is he's probably going to use Sludge Butcher on Cruel Taskmaster here.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just keep the pressure rolling. That is going to be 10 points of power on the board. He's already gotten some pretty good value out of his Shield Master or out of his Shield Maiden. So he's just hoping that Mortal Coil is in his opponent's hand and that he can really utilize it.
It is going to open him up to a Hellfire here, and he is going to actually go with the Dr. Boom.
Hellfire is something probably he was just thinking about.
Yeah, which may be really influencing him to go with that Dr. Boom because you have to be worried about the bombs, so where they will land.
Yeah, despite that, I still like attacking this Ancient Watcher. It seems kind of weird to do, but it's a tool that this deck is utilizing
for
really
Shadow
well
Flames,
between Shadow Flames, taunting it up, silencing it. Not that you're unhappy to see a second silence go, but again, it's a matter of restricting your opponent's options at this point. The 5 damage on your opponent's face almost certainly not going to matter in a position like this.
All right, so it will indeed be the Dr. Boom. Let's see the answer. Do you think he siphons souls here?
Definitely think you could see that. I mean, he's got two in his hand.
I really wouldn't mind. BGH is great. I think the only problem with that is it's kind of answered by the bombs. If he goes face, he's obviously hellfiring.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta believe if he's going face this 2-1, he's hellfiring there.
Shadow
Flame.
Okay, that's fine.
BGH
is going to be the follow-up then. And he's going to use this to protect his BGH. So a really intelligent line of play.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's actually, I think, better than anything I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than the Hellfire.
Yeah, it's a lot better. And I mean, this way he gets the BGH down, he protects it from the bombs. Looking like perhaps a Gorehowl turn here.
Yeah, this is a pretty open Gorehowl turn here. Yeah. I think you're comfortable paying a lot of life in a position like this.
Ragnaros could be the call.
Well, he did just see a big Game Hunter, so Ragnaros, really likely to get value out of this. But if it hits your opponent's face, you may not like what's going on. 5 straight to the dome. Sylvanas gets picked up. Wow, there's something that he does have to think about here. He does have to think about the potential for actually dying.
Yeah.
From a Ragnaros like this. So I imagine Ragnaros is going to get taken out here. It's a matter of how.
I think it's Siphon Soul.
Yeah, I think Siphon Soul is just a totally reasonable answer. You still keep 8 power with the minions on the board.
And you have a second Siphon Soul in hand.
This is a spot, too, where I think Backspace is really going to regret not using that Gorehowl because he's had to take so much extra damage from these minions now. I mean, you could have mitigated it to about 12 points of damage, and instead now you've taken 12 already. You're going to take a 16th point, and then you're going to take a 20th point if you want to deal with this. So, how much was Ragnaros worth in a spot like that?
I mean, it's tough because at the same time, there was a 66% chance that he was going to get a minion. He didn't. He was trying to play the odds there. If it had hit a minion, I think it would have been pretty reasonable. It would have been pretty good. It doesn't though, and it's definitely something that's even more risky against a handlock than against something else because you have to worry about the Molten Giants.
Now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, I actually like the Ragnaros there because if the Ragnaros goes uncontested for a turn, it really messes with the way that your opponent can actually develop their board.
Yeah.
Because they're facing down that potential 8 damage, and when you kind of have initiative and you can finagle your way through the turn and kill some minions where you see fit, you can aim that Ragnaros percentage a lot more to where you want it to be instead of just kind of hitting random stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Really?
I think he's got to get his board under control. I mean, the way he's going to win this game is by utilizing the score howl to full effect. So I think he's just got to get the Sludge Belchers down to help protect his life. And hopefully, this Alex is going to be pointing at himself almost 100% of the time in a situation like this because he's just paying a lot of life again to try to get control of the board and even up the cards a little bit. But
I really like Sylvanas here.
Yeah, I think Sylvanas is great here. It's just a threat that's almost impossible to deal with in a situation like this. You're going to give your opponent something out of the deal.
Dark Bomb Hellfire also could be, some sort of could be something he wants to go with.
Oh wow! That's 9 points of damage.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. Backspace has got to be careful with his life total here, actually.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, there's 2 Hellfires and the Dark Bomb. There's a lot of potential damage he could get out here. Only some tough decisions to make. The other thing is, developing Dr. Boom really would be not bad at all because if you develop your Dr. Boom this turn, and you save the double Hellfire plus the Dark Bomb, pretty decent chance that one of your bombs actually go face.
Yeah.
And one of your bombs going face could just be a surprise lethal that your opponent is not expecting.
Ooh. Kind of favor taking out one of these Sludge Belchers here. But yeah, still, the pressure's still on Backspace here. He's got to be mindful of his life total because I'd be pretty hard pressed, I think, to be thinking about double Hellfire with the boom bots lethaling me here. It's certainly maybe something that crosses his mind, but
I doubt it's something that comes into his line of play, though. That's the thing. He's got to get rid of this this Dr. Boom. I think it's going to be Cruel Task Execute. And the question is, how do you clean up these boom bots?
Yeah, I think Armor Smith is probably something that needs to hit the board this turn.
Armor Smith, Cruel Task, Execute.
Actually, I think he's going to save this Cruel Taskmaster. I think he's going to use his slime to activate
slime?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind that whatsoever. Shield Maiden as well.
He wants to reduce the effect of these boom bots hitting the right targets. He wants them to actually be hitting quite random stuff. Yeah, so picks up an extra armor there. Yep, and probably just going to go face here too. The question here is, how much are you sacrificing by using this core howl charge to start clearing out these boom bots? And frankly, I don't think it's worth it. I think at 5, it's right where you want it to be. It's going to challenge Loatheb, Ancient Watchers, that sort of stuff, even Sludge Belcher. So leaving it at 5, I think this is pretty heads up. He's sitting behind the Sludge Belcher right now. He's got the Armor Smith on board. I think his life total's pretty much in check again, and he's going to be fighting a battle of attrition once again.
Yep, where these bombs land could be somewhat impactful, so let's see. He definitely does have the ability to clear a lot out with Hellfires if he's able to get the right bomb landing. So there's 2, so that one is susceptible to it. if he hits this and it goes into the Shield Maiden for a 2 or more, let's see. Yep, that is it. That's going to be the Hellfire for sure. The perfect setup for the Hellfire now. Going to be able to clear everything out. Brutal result there for Backspace.
What are you following this up with now? Oh my gosh, wait a minute.
There's a potential lethal here with yeah, he has to be worried about that. So, if he's thinking about Cruel Task, Gromach, he has to actually use the anti-kill bot here, or Siphon Soul, which he may actually be prioritizing. Does that actually put him out of lethal, though? It's 5 damage plus the 12, so that would put him actually, just out of lethal.
Oh my gosh. It feels so gross Siphon Souling a 1-2, though.
It does. But, to me, that's really prioritizing. That's once again, that's him playing for a win if he decides to go with that. I'm try to save it for the swing turn, but he is going to decide to go with the anti-kill bot. In the end, I think this is going to be the better play.
Oh my gosh, and he picks up Sludge Belcher. I got to believe this is an Alexstrasza turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so, too.
He's going to go for maximum pressure on his opponent right now. This is so much he has to deal with. He's down to 14. He's got an answer to this Alexstrasza, but he's got to find a way to answer Alexstrasza and continue to develop his board.
I think with your opponent at 10 mana, I don't think you actually mind really putting him to 14, but I'm not actually positive about that. I have to think about all the answers that there could be. So he's going to decide to actually not put him down 1 more HP. Now let's see. He doesn't have a ton in hand right now. He can Siphon Soul. That will put him back up to 18.
Yeah, but if he Siphon Souls, he can't develop anything.
I know.
Again, Siphon Soul is just—it's an answer, but what he's looking at is, can he answer this and continue to develop his board to start getting to a winning board position?
Unless he wants to tap and take the risk to see what he finds.
Wow, so he's just gonna have to develop an Ancient Watcher by itself. Again, no taunts in hand. He doesn't want a life tap.
To me, I think you just drop Harrison and Sludge Belcher this turn and set up for lethal next turn.
That's what it looks like to me. I mean,
I don't think you go for it yet. I mean, the potential of there being a double Molten Giant taunt is just too risky. So I really just like Harrison, Sludge Belcher. I mean, you have to be worried about Shadow Flame. That's something you have to be scared of. Is he just wow? Okay, so he's going to develop the Death Bite instead, and it's going to be the Belcher, the Death Bite. Okay.
We've seen people hold on to Harrison time and again to play around stuff like Jiraxis. So
yep.
Not surprised to see it, but this is still threatening lethal next turn. Faramir needs to find a way to get out of a situation like this.
Yeah, we'll see if he can draw into a taunt. I mean, there still are a lot of ways to get out of it. If he can draw into the right cards, we'll see what the card is going to be. Dark Bomb. Not really the answer for him here. I mean, you got to be scared to tap, though. If you tap and you don't draw it, you're done.
I mean, he's got to draw. His line of play has been consistent with playing around Grommash. That's the fear he has in mind. If he's going to continue to play that way, yeah, he's just going to have to tap.
We'll see what he can look for, because yeah, he's done if he doesn't draw into a taunt or something here. I mean, if he draws into a taunt, he definitely has the potential to make some big turnaround type plays. But right now, he's got nothing. So I think eventually he is going to come to the conclusion. We'll see, though. I mean, if he's dropping this, I don't think he's taunted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so that's going to do it. And his fear this turn was that he had no potential way to play around Grommash and continue to put himself in a winning spot. Backspace going to get the win he needs to stay alive in this series. 3-1 now, still a lot of work to be done, but this has got to be a sigh of relief if you're in Backspace's spot.
Yeah, you didn't want to get blanked in the grand finals, and I mean, he is going to put a win on the board there. Finally, someone put a stop to Faramir, make it 12-1.
Yeah, Paladin, absolutely no surprise to see happening. But man, both of these hands are looking pretty strong so far. I think that Faramir is going to mulligan for a little bit more early game action.
Yeah,
but Backspace certainly not short on answers so far.
No.
I think he'd like to see something like Fiery War Axe.
If he can draw the Fiery War Axe with that, that's the dream hand pretty much.
But what are you mulliganing Execute out of this hand?
He already mulliganed.
Oh, he did already mulligan.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You don't mulligan Execute out of this hand then.
Yeah.
There's Zombie Chow and a Knife Juggler. This is a start that Faramir's had before, to a lot of success.
Oh man, yep. We will see. I mean, Zombie Chow is just never something you want to see come down. He's definitely going to be crossing his fingers to draw that Fiery War Axe. Not going to be the case. It's not the most threatening thing just yet. You can, afford to take some damage from it because it is going to start to heal you up. You really don't want to see that turn 3 muster. That's where things started to get kind of really problematic.
Yeah.
And Ragnaros is not going to help him out here.
2 big heavy draws in a row. And, gosh, really needing a weapon. Just not available to him right now.
That's one of the things you always have to really watch out for, unfortunately. As a warrior, because you have so many of these legendaries, these late game threats and stuff, you're really dependent on a couple key cards. Mainly Fiery War Axe to really kind of tide you over, get you through that early game.
Indeed. Wow, he's gonna coin.
He's gonna coin with the Acolyte, I think, almost as like a taunt, I guess. But it's only gonna give him 1 draw. It's not. I mean, maybe it's gonna set up. If he does that to me,
that would have been desperate. I think you just go. I think you just got to eat the damage for now. Rely on the Zombie Chow to give you back some of the life that you need, and hope that your opponent starts to stumble a little bit. I think he's, a little bit disappointed that he doesn't see something like Buster for Battle this turn. Frankly, I mean, he would have been taking some extra damage, but he would have gotten it out of the way. Brawl, that could be a really interesting draw this game. I imagine this is going to yield another armor up. Faramir going to have to be careful on how to develop his turns going forward.
Yeah. Something you're always going to have to take into consideration. I mean, his next couple turns could be pretty reasonable. I think he's thinking about developing this, and if he does, I'm expecting to see the Coin Whirlwind, but we'll see. I mean, if you decide to Coin Whirlwind here, no, so it's not going to be that. He's just going to try to get it down.
I think he's trying to use this as like a look for desperation.
Yeah.
Muster for Battle is picked up
and this could actually set him up so well. I mean, if he goes to 3-2 into that, that's going to make everything basically die to the Whirlwind, and I think very likely the Knife Juggler. Is he going to?
I was going to say, I think he's going to Iron Begal this because I mean, this looks so desperate
smart play.
From this perspective. It looks like your opponent's just absolutely desperate with what's going on, and And, I think Backspace probably getting the better end of this trade right now.
Yeah. Backspace, you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he played the Acolyte as sort of like a look for desperation, and now he has access to Brawl.
Yep,
I think this is the turn he was looking for with this Brawl. I mean, this Zombie Chow's, if it dies, it's going to heal him back up. A very big likelihood that a 1 health minion ends up winning this. Faramir even throws out the well played. I don't think that's something he expected. Knife Juggler wins the Brawl, though, so that's likely going to force out another Execute.
Ouch.
At some point, picks up a second muster for battle.
And he has a Quartermaster as well.
So much gas in the favor of Faramir right now. He's got a lot of pressure. That Knife Juggler effectively giving all of these minions charge this turn.
I mean, the fact that he had that down there as well denies the Sludge Belcher from coming down. I mean, it forces out the Whirlwind Execute. He's hoping, I'm sure, to draw into an Acolyte. If he could Acolyte Whirlwind Execute, it would be a lot nicer. Let's see what he gets. Nope. So it's got to be Whirlwind Execute. It just has to be. He can't afford to get that Quartermaster.
He can't afford the risk of the Quartermaster. I mean, he's got Harrison Jones for 3 card draws, but again, he's just under so much pressure.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have an option other than to deal with the
option.
board. Yeah, I mean, this is what pressure is creating. It's prohibiting a 3 card draw Harrison Jones from happening this turn.
I mean, Quartermaster would have ended the game, so he had to. That was his only choice there. It's going to be another muster, though. Not going to be too happy about seeing this.
Backspace is going to need to pick up a Whirlwind, but he's got 4 card draws to do it.
Maybe 3. Let's see if he goes for it. Nope.
He already attacked with his first weapon.
So it's going to be 5 card draws. I mean, there's 1. Let's see the additional 4. Is he going to go for it?
Yeah, 4 extra card draws.
Yeah, I think he's got to go for it.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, you cannot let a Quartermaster take
Pretty
place
high
this
chance.
turn.
Let's see.
He's going to need a Whirlwind. He doesn't pick it up, and Quartermaster is going to apply so much pressure to Backspace now. He's going to be facing down a full board full of minion damage. I mean,
he can get a 5 minion Quartermaster. I mean, he has the Explosive Sheep. If he could draw the Whirlwind next turn, he has the potential at least to clear. He has the potential to get something going.
He's taking 12 damage when that happens.
Just brutal. And the fact of the matter is, there's still the True Silver Champion. There's Consecration, 6 damage. They can't even,
10 power and health
my God.
from a 5 mana card. This has been insane value. Backspace needs a Whirlwind here.
Doesn't get it.
He has no way to replace his Death Spite, and with his current hand, I don't think he has any way to fend off the amount of pressure that Faramir has applied to this board. He can help fight with the Sludge Belcher, but there's Equality, Consecrate, there's True Silver Champion, Armor Smith can come down, but I think this is just too much pressure.
Yep. I think this is going to do it. I think we have our champion. Faramir is looking unstoppable here. We will see if he can finish this out right here, right now. He has, oh my God, he has the Equality. He has a True Silver Champion. So many ways to finish this off. Let's see how he's going to do it.
Defender I don't see any way that he can miss this. I mean, this is just Equality. No. It's Consecrate. Your opponent gains 1 armor of that. They gain a 2nd armor off of this Sludge Belcher token, but that's just it. It's just too much damage. Backspace is going to fall 4 games to 1. Faramir putting up a 13-1 record after starting 0-2 to Kalento, and he's going to be the winner of this tournament. What an unbelievable performance from Faramir.
Absolutely insane run. Completely dominating performances. Paladin deck crushing throughout the tournament.